Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey. Today I received my copy of the new edition of Dan by Richard Corben, and I want to share my observations and first thoughts about this book here, this new edition. First, the paper sleeve looks really nice, like it was with Murky World. Very sharp image there. That is used obviously for the cardboard here as well, and that's the reason why I will store these books in this way without the paper sleeve. Even though, quite frankly, I'm not so sure if I will continue the series. And this video is partwise why. I'm trying to explain why I'm suddenly a bit hesitant about this edition here. This year is just a minor detail, but a bit odd that they put now a number on this book here. And Murky World had no number, even though I get it, it was his last work, but nevertheless. Anyhow, when you open this book here, this inner cover is obviously quite surprising, but fantastic at the same time. This is really great. A good example of the fantastic world building of Richard Corben. And we get two forewords, one by José Villarubia, who did the new coloring of this book here of Richard Corben's comics. But he tells more, goes more into the details of the storytelling and that Dan is more all about this muscle cult. Think about this Mr. Atlas of the old comics, in which a weakling becomes some superhuman just with some whatever they want to sell you. Here, these Atlas advertisement and other stuff. So he puts the story and maybe even the Dan genre into a certain perspective, which I found really intriguing. The second one here is humoristic and on point thing here when he talks. I mean, those bodies, kinetic granite sculptures covered in sentient caramel and so on. This is really a good short introduction that really grabs the essence of the book here. Yeah, then I saw the new colored pages of Dan, and there was this interview of José Villarubia who on the Living Line channel, which was very interesting. So I had really high hopes and wondered how the new colors will look like. And quite frankly, I'm a bit disappointed when I combine the new coloring here with the old coloring in my German edition from, let's see, from 1991. When you look at the bottom here, this is the new edition, and this is the old edition, and I hope you can see it. It's not the colors. The colors are okay, they are a bit lighter in the old book, and this changes. Sometimes they are a bit darker in the new one and lighter in the old one. But the new version is blurry. And it's really minor. The differences are minor, don't get me wrong. But there are no improvement at all. And in fact, the old edition from 1991 is a lot better. I mean, you don't have to look too closely at this. And this continues in the beginning, at least, of the book. But we get later on similar stuff here. Oh, well, this here is the first panel. Really, this is the first panel in which I thought, okay, the new printing here is better than the old one. I mean, here you get on the left side of this panel here, this gets a bit blurry in the old one. So I compared panel by panel, page by page, and found really no big improvements. And in fact, more often I found the older panels in the old book there tiny bit better, more colorful, bit more intriguing than the new ones here. And this continues, even though on this double page we find a big improvement here. And that's this panel. I mean, you know maybe that German is a very convoluted language, and something that you can express in 3 words in English, then you will have to use 10 words in German. So the speech bubbles are bigger. So, yeah, they could place the speech bubble in a more convenient place so that we can see some other details that are of a bit of interest there. Yeah, anyhow, that was a funny detail. And speaking of flesh tones, that's something that they got right in the new edition. While Dan in the old one here looks a bit like he has a sunburn all over, a bit too reddish. The skin tone here is looks a bit more naturally. But again, sometimes the old drawings look a bit sharper, and the newer ones a bit more blurry. A double page that looks definitely better in the new edition is this one here, compared to the older one. I mean, you have these saturated greens, and some details look, yeah, in my eye, a bit stronger in the new coloring or in the new printing here. But yeah, again, overall, I really don't understand the huge fuss about the new coloring, and can't really agree in terms of that this book here is something exceptional in terms of creating the art or saving the art for the future. I don't want to pretend that I understand anything of that coloring and technical stuff here, and maybe I've bored you to death with my comparisons here, because most of you just want to look at this book here and try to figure out if you should have this one, if you never have read Dan by Richard Corben before, and just to get your fix of by Richard Corben or of Richard Corben. And of course, this book here is it's maybe a bit exaggerated that your life will be changed with this book here, but just a slight exaggeration. This book is just bonkers. It's the best escapism that you could get comic-wise. And yeah, and these afterwards here I still have to read, obviously. So this was just my first impression of this book here. And yeah, I'm a bit disappointed, but as you know me, probably I will continue with this series here, because Richard Corben is just an exceptional cartoonist. Overall, this is a fantastic book and highly recommended, especially if you have never read this amazing fantasy saga about this guy here who turns into a super strong simpleton. Wonderful book, and yeah, just my expectations. Expectations are sometimes a bitch when you expect to be blown away by fantastic new coloring, and then you realize, oh, you had all these fantastic colors as they were obviously intended already on your shelf before. It's a good thing on the one hand. On the other hand, I have to stop this video. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.